Is NERF Rival dead? Well, not quite, but the company that originally popularized NERF Rival, you know, NERF, isn't really putting a whole lot in the Rival basket. I mean, last year we didn't really have a whole lot that came out, and besides the NERF Rival Curve Helix, which I still haven't seen on store shelves anywhere, it doesn't look like we have a whole lot to go off of. But other companies have made Rival. However, Zuru has not done a flywheel blaster at all in anything, I don't think. It's been a while since Dart Zone has released any new Rival-style blasters under the Adventure Force line. Oh wait, there's a new one that we have right frickin' here. Attention! Like seriously, putting the balls in the hopper, in the blaster, in the package is a really, really smart move. Well, that's about as simple as it can get. And here we are. You know, besides this being a little too thin, that's incredibly comfortable. And the whole side just lifts open. That's gotta be one of the fastest ways to fill a Rival blaster. I like that a heck of a lot more than like the Percy's with the weird like little door that you can flip over on the top. And of course the Nemesis and Prometheus, which just have that weird sliding door that never really worked in my opinion. For only being a $35 blaster, I think the Adventure Force Monolith here has a lot to offer, being essentially the analog for a cheaper version of the NERF Rival Percy's with a bit smaller capacity, but in my opinion it is far easier to reload and the ergonomics are on point. I do like the fact that the blaster is overall symmetrical, I do like the grip and the trigger and everything like that, it all feels pretty good, but I honestly don't like how the front of it really has like 3 barrels when it only fires out of 1. That's a small gripe. And keep in mind, it's a $35 blaster, so if you're expecting something absolutely crazy in terms of performance, well, you're probably going to be let down, but otherwise, you're going to be very impressed. Man, I sure hope this thing takes C batteries, because that's what the Select took, and I have some sitting around. D batteries. Nobody uses D batteries, except for probably your mom, so, I'll be back.
Few moments later.
You know, it's bad enough that I have to go get fresh D batteries, but they were out of any of the bigger packs besides the 2 packs. So this cost me a lot more money than it probably should have. Please hit that like button, and while you're down there, consider subscribing for more content like this, because these are not cheap. Wow, come on! Same old Adventure Force Tactical Strike, not Rival ammo, yet Rival ammo that we've known to love. That's pretty good for stock motors, and they're well balanced, too. Alright, well the rate of fire isn't the greatest, but we can fix that with, some modifications, and also it's a hopper, and that's to be expected. Nice little budget package for a flywheel Rival blaster. I mean, this thing is cheap enough that dual wielding these is not out of the question. And at least the battery tray is big enough that it should be incredibly simple to throw a LiPo in here. Yeah, everything about this blaster is just screaming, put me on a 3S LiPo, please! So the most obvious comparison to the Monolith here is the NERF Rival Perseus, and many people have become spoiled by what the Perseus and the Prometheus can do in terms of rate of fire, but I gotta point out, this thing doesn't have a rechargeable battery built in, and on top of that, it is far, far cheaper than those blasters, so take the rate of fire with a grain of salt for this one. I'm gonna try to single fire this as best as possible. Well, those are gonna be impossible to see. Conclusions: $40 blaster, 40 rounds, full auto, nice compact, pretty much the final evolution, I would say, of the hopper style system. I definitely approve. It's comfortable in all the right places, although I certainly feel like this foregrip could be a bit bigger. I have kind of small hands and that's not really great, but it looks good, it's symmetrical. Battery door is large enough to throw pretty much any LiPo you want in there if you want to rewire it. I feel like the agitation will also improve once you put on a LiPo because that rate of fire isn't great, and that's not really a fault of the actual blaster. I mean, they have to limit the rate of fire because it's going off stock batteries, and those flywheels get bogged down pretty quick. I would argue the fire rate on this is almost perfect because it still hits really hard because of that slow rate of fire for a stock Rival blaster, but that can certainly get better. Honestly, this is a pretty good buy. Maybe it's a little bit harder now that Rival kind of almost feels like it's on its way out, but then again, Rival's been around for so long, there's so many options for ammo and everything like that, and modification potential, that this is a great pick. If you don't have a Perseus or can't find a Perseus, this is definitely a good option for you. I'm still gonna say the Perseus is a better option, but that's not fair because the Perseus is a $100 blaster normally, comes with a rechargeable battery and everything like that. This is a $40 blaster that doesn't include that, but still pretty darn good. Really not many faults, and what faults it does have can be fixed with modification. I keep bringing modification potential up with this blaster because I think that's its main claim to fame. It's super cheap, and if you already have the tools and materials like a LiPo charger, soldering iron, you can very easily bring this up to spec, or at least I think so. I haven't done it yet, but in the past, things like the Adventure Force Quantum have been exceptionally easy to rewire for a LiPo, and that's all you have to do. No motor swaps, nothing. Once again, Dart Zone, you continue to impress, but that's all I've got for you. I'm Walcom S7, thank you very much for watching this video. If you've gotten all the way to the end, chances are you like what I do, so please hit like and consider getting subscribed for more content just like this and much more in the future. But beyond all that, thank you very much, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video.
You gotta